everyone. Thank you very much for joining. We'll just give a couple of seconds here before as people join and our attendees get in from the waiting room. Appreciate you joining us today. We are here for Growing Institutional OER Programs. Is Pressbooks right for you? I guess it would make sense to have that slide up and visible, wouldn't it? So let's go with that. Looks like people are filing in. Thank you very much. We do have a couple of people monitoring chat in case anyone wants to put anything into chat. If you have any questions, I'll get through this presentation and hopefully leave a little bit of time for any questions that people might have as we go through. So thank you very much. Today, what I wanted to cover is number one, what should you consider when making choices about the publishing tools that you use on campus? What goals can Pressbooks help you achieve? How do Pressbooks networks work and what is required to make them successful? And lastly, how can this tool, Pressbooks, help you manage, scale, and grow your open education publishing program? So I've got a few examples of that. My name's John McLeod. I'm one of our account executives here at Pressbooks and the sales team lead. And I work with colleges, universities in the west coast of North America and as far-reaching as Australia. So we have a number of clients in Australia and even some that I know were probably not going to join us today because of the hour, but I know that they've signed up to see the recording of this. So when I think about that first point, there are a whole lot of tools out there, and what should I think about as I'm starting to engage with a publishing program and making a selection? So number one, I think what you have to consider, what are your goals? Are you looking to support OER creation, or are you developing maybe textbook material that can be used in zero textbook cost or low textbook cost programs? Do you have faculty looking to develop open pedagogy projects? We had a presentation earlier this week talking about how institutions are using Pressbooks for portfolio work on their students. And I thought that was a great use case and really interesting. Are you looking for a flexible publishing platform that allows you to publish to the web so that you can take advantage of cost savings that are afforded there? That easily formats with a low learning curve that can be transported easily to multiple different formats. So you want to assess the variables that you're under. Number one, time constraints. We all know that we're being asked to do more with less. But what kind of human capital do you have to take advantage of? What are the interests of your faculty, of your institution? Why are you engaging in this work? And number one, or I guess this is the biggest constraint that we all have, is money. So what can Pressbooks help you achieve? So with an enterprise Pressbooks network for your institution, we can assist your authors achieve their goals. So Pressbooks and a lot of users of Pressbooks will tell you that there's a low learning curve to using Pressbooks, and I'll demonstrate a little bit of that a little later. But we can help you achieve your program goals. So you might be going into this thinking that you want to have a certain number of not necessarily Pressbooks, a certain number of OER material available written on campus. You have a number of interested authors and you want to have a certain number available within the next year or within the next 18 months. And we can help to achieve broader institutional goals, whether that's the noble goal of saving students cost and so that they don't have to pay so much for textbooks. But it also could be broader institutional goals around learning and learning outcomes. So how does a Pressbooks network work? what's required to make them successful. So I've got a few examples here that I want to go through and point to. Most of these Pressbooks networks have been set up within, actually, I shouldn't say most, but most have been set up within the last couple of years. And then one, Open Oklahoma State, has been in existence for 5 or 6 years, I believe. And I just want to go through the breadth of what the ways that they're using their networks. So I'm going to flip over to college, Lemoore College. They got a Pressbooks network last year, and they are supporting open educational resources. They're taking advantage of the work that they can do. And I wanted to just point to their catalog right now. So this is a network that started up just a little over a year ago. Right now, they have just over 10 books available on their network. 6 of them right now are openly licensed and available at the catalog. And you can see here, this is work that's all been done by faculty at Lemoore College. And I think it's a great example of how they devoted themselves and how they got into a very small college and very limited resources, one OER librarian, and were able to publish this number of books. I want to highlight as well Pima College. So let me just go into the Pima Open Digital Press. They are under a year that Pima has been working with Pressbooks. They set up this network last spring, and you can see here on their page they have highlighted a few of the works that's already been released with Pressbooks. But to go into their complete catalog, you can see right now they've got 15 books in the catalog that are, again, openly licensed or public domain, and they're available to people who want to dig into them. The topics in mathematics and introduction to logic. I wanted to go into this one a little bit further because you can see that they've got 84 H5P activities that are embedded within this book. So H5P, if you don't know, is built on HTML5. It's a open tool that we have integrated into every Pressbooks network. If I was to look into a chapter here, and I'm pretty sure that there's an H5P activity that comes up. If we scroll down, there we go. So they've got a check your understanding box, and right here, students can use this as a formative assessment tool as they go through, and they can just check. Okay, so this one I had to select a number of arguments. So I got a +1 for this one, but I must have missed one as well. So, and I can retry, and I can, okay. So I did a little bit better there. Check my understanding. Okay, now I've learned. So that's how students can use H5P through the book, integrating it right within their learning and in their learning tools. I'll go and I'll show you a little bit further about H5P and just how easy it is to use, and how you can also use Pressbooks results to get feedback and information about how your students are using their learning resources and how they're learning in the LMS. So let me flip over to the Open Education Resources Collective, published out of Australasia. So this is the shared network for probably about 30 or 40 Australasian, so New Zealand, Australia, and other universities within Australasia have joined together to form this network. And it's the Council of Australasian University Librarians. They have an initiative to support OER creation. They have a number of links here that you can find out more. And they have information about their workflow. Again, they're using our showcase on the main page, and you can dig further they have been active for about 3 years on this network. And you can see already they've got 54 public openly licensed books that are available, and a number of subject matters. And again, a number of them will engage with H5P. Okay, so if I go over to just to show you how easy a Pressbooks network is to use, I want to just log into our demo network. So you can see here I've logged in. I'm logged in right now as an administrator on the network. Any user that logs in will see this screen where they can create a book at the click of a button, or they can adapt a book. If you choose to adapt a book, what I'll show you here is how our cloning tool works. So this is how they would clone a book. So if you have a Pressbooks book, a source book URL, you can enter it here, or you can search our Pressbooks directory. That's a repository of or a repository, sorry, of over 8,000 openly available books right now. Most of them are openly licensed, and if they are openly licensed, our cloning tool will let you make a copy of them. So I'm going to look for a favorite of mine, sociology, and I am actually going to look for an OpenStax text. So many of you will be working at institutions where OpenStax is familiar with your faculty. So let me just enter. So you can see here that this is pulling up any introduction to sociology. A lot of these books are adapted, and this book I happen to know this is a book that was published out of the Washington State group. It was you can see here it was brought into Pressbooks so that instructors could edit, build upon, and remix the content from Introduction to Sociology, second edition. So if I select this book, it's going to pop in the source book URL, and it's going to copy over new book URL. And I can make an edit to that if I like, if I just want to say Introduction to Sociology. As long as that URL isn't taken on my network, I'll be able to clone it. I won't let you, or won't make you sit through the cloning procedure. On a book like this, it's probably going to take anywhere from 7 to 8 minutes, but I did this a little bit earlier. I cloned this book over. So what you'll see when you clone a book, it's an exact copy. You can even see the cover is the same cover that we saw within the directory. And what I want to do is I want to go into organize this book just to show you how with a Pressbooks network, you can take an OpenStax text that's been brought into the into Pressbooks and make some changes to make it a little bit more interactive. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going here, this is exact copy of the material in the original source. And I want to use the glossary tool in Pressbooks. So I'm just going to go for the first sociology here, and I'm going to click Insert a Glossary Term. So that's going to bring up select a term. I've already entered a number of terms into the glossary, so it is an existing term. But if I hadn't already, I can create a term and insert the description. But let me just go ahead with sociology. And now you can see these short codes are wrapped around the term sociology. And I'll just show you what that looks like for your students. So if I click view a chapter, you can see now sociology is highlighted here, and I can click and get the definition. And so this produces not just an end of book glossary that I can use, but also a tool that students can use, excuse me, that students can use to an interactive tool that they can use to reinforce their learning as they go through. So I'll go back to edit to make some other changes. If I scroll through here, one of the great things I love about OpenStax, not just the material is reviewed and great material, but it's openly licensed, so I can make any changes that I want. you can see here as I scroll down that this section quiz looks right now very similar to the kind of section quiz that I would have taken as a student looking in a book that, well, let's face it, was back in the 1900s. And if I go to this section quiz, it's got the question and the answer is highlighted here. So I'm just left to answer these on my own. So there's a better way to do this. So if I go through here, I'm just going to delete this. And for the section quiz, I'm going to add H5P activity. So I put this together, this section quiz for section 1.1. I'm going to insert it right here. So now you see, again, a short code with the H5P ID. And I'm just going to save that so that we can see what that section quiz now looks like for your students. So now the section quiz is an H5P activity that they have to go through and answer on their own. And do that, and we'll just do a couple here. And okay, I always answer until I get one wrong, so I finally got one wrong. So this is just making the use of the tool that's embedded within every Pressbooks network to make it a more engaging product for your students. You can do the same thing with a number of different activities. I can turn this short answer question into an assignment with using H5P. There's over 50 different activity types that you can use when you have access to our H5P tool. So once I've got this chapter like I wanted and I've got the H5P, I'm going to scroll down here to our LMS grade reporting area. So this is a section where I can now select this activity, and I would like so the grading scheme, I'm going to say the best attempt. I want my students to practice this and improve, so I'm going to keep track of their best attempt. And let me just save this now. Now I have something that I can move over into a Canvas course or any LMS. Our integration will work with Canvas, with Blackboard, with WebCT. Sorry, that's Blackboard. We'll also work with D2L and Moodle as well. So any of the major LMSs, our LTI integration will work. So if I go into a Canvas course and I've got a number of readings that are set up, but I want to add this new one here. So I'm just going to click here and add an external tool. And I'm going to go with the Pressbooks content selector. And now this is matching up my account on Canvas with my account in Pressbooks. And you can see here that I'm able to select from the books that I have access to. So let me just scroll down for Introduction to Sociology. Now I can see here that there's a graded assignment that's available. So that's the chapter that I want to select for my students. Select that content. And now it's putting that content within the LMS. So let me just quickly publish it. And so when a student comes in now, if I view as a student and I click on what is sociology, now I'll see that same chapter, and you saw the web book, but I'll see it now within the LMS. So this is basically the exact same chapter, and it's live. You can see that glossary term now works here within the LMS. And if I scroll down as a student, I can see the section quiz here is highlighted, and I can answer the questions just as I would have before. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to answer these questions. And I'm going to say interact and compare individuals to groups. Okay, so let me finish this activity. I got 3 out of 4. As a student, I can retry it right now, try to get a better one, because my instructor told me that I would be graded on my best attempt, or I'm happy with 75% and I'll come back to it later. So I got this done, and I can double check here now in the grades. So here you can see I took this, what is sociology, and here's my score. So 3 out of 4. It's been weighted out of 10 by the student or by the instructor, and I can move on. I can come back to this and I can try to do better next time. But this shows me quite simply and easily how I've done on that assignment, and yeah, how I've improved my learning. So, like I said, um, the Pressbooks directory is over 8,000 books now that are open access. So some of them, there's a number that are um, all rights reserved, but the author has still chosen to make it available openly so that you can use it. But the majority of books on the Pressbooks directory are openly licensed and can be cloned or can be exported in a number of different formats so that it can be used and reused or remixed by your faculty to make a product that is more localized for your campus. So there's over 198 different organizations that are publishing to the directory. An organization might be something like that Australasian network, where there's 40 or 30 or 40 institutions that are using that network. Of the 198 different organizations, we have calculated that basically there's about 500 to 550 institutions that are using Pressbooks to support mostly their OER publishing. They use it. It's interesting. We recently surveyed a number of our clients, and most of our clients are using it, as I said, to support OER publishing, but they are also all using their Pressbooks networks to support other areas. So whether that's learning engagement with H5P, or whether it's we have examples of some institutions using it to do, like I said, student portfolios. It could be something that they're using we have a few institutions that are using some Pressbooks features to publish undergrad research and demonstrate undergrad research projects, and giving access to those students to publish their research. So there's a lot of exciting ways that institutions are using Pressbooks, and what it comes down to, for the most part, is they're using it because of that low learning curve and the ability to customize the output from a Pressbooks network. So let me just go back to my slides here. Right. I like to show when I started with Pressbooks, it was just over 3 years ago. This was the screenshot of the directory at the time. So we were just over 2,000 books at the time. So over the last 3 years, and there was 91 different Pressbooks networks. So now there's 198 networks and over 8,000 books available on the directory. Okay, so just to recap what I would like to talk about. So, how can a tool like Pressbooks help you manage, scale, and sustain your open educational programs? First thing that you want to look for is you want to have a flexible, fully loaded publishing program that's easy to use for your users. That also is something that we want to touch on is accessible, produces an accessible product. We do have a VPAT available at Pressbooks. Accessibility is very, very important to us. We are currently updating our VPAT to make sure that we are WCAG 2.2 AA compatible. And so you want first to have a tool that is accessible and produces accessible products, but also flexible in how you can make books available to students. So Pressbooks will export to PDF so that you can send that to a print-on-demand publisher or printer and produce a print book if that's how the students want to use it. Or if you are concerned about Wi-Fi access, students can download an ebook and have that on their device so that they don't have to worry about reading it online. The next thing that you'll want to consider is making your products available uh, for everyone to see. So that's where things like the directory and our ability to clone or import material into Pressbooks is something that you should consider. It's a lot easier to build on the work that's already been done than recreating the wheel. And with our directory, you can find material, but also promote the material that you've done on your network. And when you promote that, the other thing that I'd like to consider, and I didn't get into deeply, but is sharing your work and measuring the success with analytics. So with your each network, network managers have access to our stats page and our analytics area where they can see the number of page views, the number of downloads, so that they can keep track of the reach that their work is that's being produced on the network has in the open community. And lastly, that you want to select a tool that can be used by multiple people across your institution so that you can bring people together on that publishing platform to produce material that reflects well on your institution, but also can be used by a number of people because it doesn't require specialized training. It's something that you can take advantage of and get people signed up in Pressbooks. And we have great support resources. We have monthly webinars that our support team puts together, 3 actually per month on different subjects, so that your users, if you're supporting a network, your users can get the support they need without necessarily coming directly to you.